the reason why I'm buying Dogelon Mars as opposed to Dogecoin is actually very simple. It's because I just think it's a much better pick for me. Because after all, when I take a look at meme coins, I want to take a look at something that has potential upside. I'm not looking for like a dinosaur. And don't get me wrong, Dogecoin, it's great, at one point. But as of right now, I'm looking for the next big thing. And I believe that's Dogelon Mars, hypothetically speaking. Now, the reason why is because if it were to go to a $5 billion market cap, and by the way, if you're wondering what price it would have at that point, I do put it on the screen. That right there is around a 66x from here, considering current circulating supply. Now, if we take a look at Dogecoin, if for instance, it were to do, let's say a 66x from here, at the price, at that point would be around $8 and market cap would be around $1.2 trillion. So you got to think about that. Is it realistic for Dogecoin to do, even over like a 20x during this bull run? I think highly unlikely, let alone around a 66x. Yeah, I just think that's out of the question. Now, granted, is Dogecoin a caca meme coin? No, I mean, the community is good, very passionate community. But when I take a look at Dogelon Mars, I just believe that it could be so special. Very low market cap, a lot of room to grow. And the community is also very passionate. There's over 100,000 holders. So if I could only put all my eggs into like one basket, let's say, during this bull run for a meme coin, and I only had two options, as opposed to Dogecoin, I would rather hands down put it all into Dogelon Mars. Yeah, sure. Is the price like more volatile than Dogecoin? I would say yeah, but hey, I'm willing to take that chance because I believe that, again, it just has much better potential upside, at least for me, not financial advice. And if you take a look at Dogelon Mars, it's not this like useless meme coin that people keep saying. They're like, oh, wow, it's trash, it's caca. Well, I disagree because you take a look at, for instance, they have a metaverse in the works. So that's great. Also on top of that, they have a layer 2, which is also in the works, which will most likely, by the way, include a burn mechanism. So you can only imagine that. That could be so massive because, first of all, we take a look at the metaverse. Now, is this going to be like, the best metaverse out there ever made, when it comes to Dogelon Mars? I think highly unlikely, but hey, it's the thought that counts. At least they're trying. They're not being lazy. And also on top of that, if you take a look at the layer 2 that they have in the works, we've seen what Shibarium, aka Shiba Inu's layer 2, we've seen what that did for Shiba Inu, gave it a lot more attention and hype. Not that it necessarily needed any more hype or attention. It's already like very well established, but again, it was still great nonetheless. Now, granted, if the same were to happen to Dogelon Mars, the impact is going to be a lot more because, again, right, Dogelon Mars isn't really like this well-established meme coin that's like top 3 or whatever. That's not the case, right? So, of course, a layer 2, that's going to benefit it greatly. Then it cause a lot more attention and hype. And that's what we need for a meme coin because, like, a meme coin isn't supposed to be like the necessarily, best thing out there in terms of fundamentals. That's not the case. So what's the way to supplement that? Great exposure, right? For instance, which Dogelon Mars has, listed in over 20 major exchanges. So that's amazing. A strong and passionate community, which Dogelon Mars also has, over 100,000 holders. And also, more attention, more hype, right? Through, launching stuff like, for instance, a layer 2, that could be massive, a metaverse, for instance. So when it comes to Dogelon Mars, I think for what it is, it actually steps beyond what it's required because you take a look at, naturally, again, a meme coin, it's not supposed to really even try in most cases. If you take a look at most meme coins out there, they don't even want to bother like with a metaverse or anything like that, let alone a layer 2. They're like, yeah. But when it comes to Dogelon Mars, they're stepping beyond, the traditional meme coin, right? Again, they're at least trying to, and that showcases how they're not lazy. They're not complacent. Because again, a lot of other projects out there, they just feel like so lazy, but it's just kind of weird sometimes how they brag about it. It's like, who shows off about being lazy? But yeah, besides that point, when I also take a look at Dogecoin, right? I get why some influencers out there may go all in on it. Let's say like they had like a couple $1 million or whatever, and then it does like, okay, I guess. And then they're like, okay, yeah, we did so well. But then if let's say someone has nowhere near that much, like why even choose Dogecoin? I just don't understand that. Like, okay, like a 5x is cool, but what is that really going to do, if someone doesn't have like a lot, hypothetically? If you take a look at, Dogelon Mars, let's say I were to put $1,000 right now. And for instance, if it were to go to a $5 billion market cap, that right there, is potentially turning my $1,000 into over 60, which is kind of insane to think about. Now, again, this is just a hypothetical scenario, but it showcases just how much room Dogelon Mars has to grow. And I'm not looking to get into something that's like the big thing. I'm looking for the next big thing. which is why I'm really bullish on Dogelon Mars. I think that even though granted there are many, competitors out there, I think Dogelon Mars still has a place because when something is this unique, this interesting, and has a community this passionate with exposure that's very amazing, I think that really the sky's the limit. But it's just really a waiting game because, this type of stuff, it takes a while. You take a look at, for instance, it's not like altcoins are going to peak like instantly, right? When I make this video, typically altcoins, they've been known to peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. And this is actually as a worst case scenario, historically speaking. So basically, based off the last Bitcoin halving event, which happened back in April, that's around October of next year in 2025. Now, granted, could it happen sooner? Yes. But if let's say I have to wait till that long, it's totally fine anyways, because there are many amazing factors. Like, for instance, there's over 600 million crypto owners, according to Crypto.com research. That's insane. You also take a look at, for instance, the Bitcoin ETF, the number of institutional investors. That's amazing. So when you take all of those amazing factors, is this bull run going to be bad? No, I don't think so. Everyone thought that like 2021 was like the peak for altcoins, just for cryptocurrencies in general. But I disagree. The whole cryptocurrency space, ever since it started, it's just been getting better and better and better. And I think that this time around, it's going to be no different. Even back in 2021, there was roughly only around 300 million crypto owners. Again, now, according to Crypto.com research, there's over 600 million. So that's basically double that amount. Could you imagine that? So I think all the FOMO we saw back then is really going to be amplified in such a fantastic way this time around. And not to mention, the hype for meme coins will jump back in again, in my opinion, because even though we've seen several other meme coins outperform Dogelon Mars, I think its low point is actually going to play to its advantage. Why is that? It's because people naturally, they want to look for the next big thing in some cases. So of course, right, when they see something like Book a Meme, when they see like a Pepe already doing very well, they sometimes want to taste the next big thing, so to speak. So of course, Dogelon Mars being low, at least temporarily, I think it's going to benefit it because it's just going to create a lot more attention and hype. Even though it may sound counterintuitive, it's like, why is the bad performance going to benefit it? But I think in the world of cryptocurrencies, it's actually potentially going to do that because once other meme coins start popping off, and let's say Dogelon Mars is still kind of lagging behind, they're going to pay attention to that because they're like, hey, we want the next big thing with, a community that's passionate. That's something like Dogelon Mars. So I think it's actually in a very unique position. It's not in a bad position, in my opinion. Now, it's kind of bad in a sense for the people who held for quite a while. But personally, for me, I think that, around a year from right now, things could look so different. And again, its low point, I think, is actually beneficial in a sense, if that makes sense, I would say. And again, all I got to do is stay patient and keep in mind, I've been acquiring Dogelon Mars for quite a while now. You take a look at my videos, back in like 2023, I was talking about Dogelon Mars. So anytime I've been earning income, I've been acquiring, holding, and just waiting. That's it. No day trading for me, no using leverage, no swing trading, none of that. I really just like to keep things simple. I just don't want to dabble with that because when a bull run could potentially be this amazing, when I see a meme coin this fantastic, I don't want to mess it up by doing random nonsense and doing things that are beyond my control, right? Like I can't predict what happens to the price every like 1 minute, 2 hours. Who does that, man? I know some people do, but I'm not going to do that. Now, again, of course, I think Dogelon Mars is really a no-brainer pick for me. Much better than Dogecoin, in my opinion. Had this been years ago, I understand Dogecoin. But as of right now, I think Dogelon Mars is the winner. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like the next Shiba Inu or the next Dogecoin, for instance, right? Because even reaching a $5 billion market cap again, over a 60x from here, it's not bad, right? We've seen Dogecoin reach over 80 billion. We've seen SHIB reach around 40 billion. So not only is this figure actually realistic, a $5 billion market cap, but it doesn't necessarily mean that, again, Dogelon Mars has to defeat them in order to do well. Over a 60x, I think, is already very fantastic. So that's amazing. Again, I don't think that's unrealistic. I think Dogelon Mars has a bright future ahead. This board could be so amazing. And again, it doesn't need to be the next SHIB or Doge. Reaching a $5 billion market cap is already very amazing. I just think Dogelon Mars is the winner here. And Dogecoin, nah, I don't want that, man. This isn't like 2020, if that makes sense. And make sure to subscribe. If you gained value from this video, I'd greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.